Hello, folks. Welcome to another session of Groundbreak 2020. My name is Sanjeev Dhillon from Procore Technologies. I am your moderator today as we talk about the incredible journey of Spot, the robot that saw it at construction sites through an amazing industry collaboration of Boston Dynamics, makers of Spot, Procore valued client Pomerleau, one of Canada's largest general contractors, and Procore valued partner HoloBuilder, whose technology is on the cutting edge of construction project management. However, before I start or introduce my guests, I wanted to showcase the star and subject matter for our show today, the four-legged engineering and robotic marvel Spot, in this quick 20-second video. Here you go. Wow, that is amazing. And yes, we're going to talk about Spot's capabilities on the job site later. But first, time for me to introduce our brilliant humans behind this collaboration, because behind every great robot are great humans. So gentlemen, if you can introduce yourselves and your companies. We'll start with Brian, then Isaac, then Christian. Go ahead, Brian.
Hi, I'm Brian Ringley. I'm the Construction Technology Manager at Boston Dynamics, where I work closely with all of our construction customers and work on partnerships such as the one that we have with HoloBuilder.
All right, I'm Isaac Charbonneau-Beaulieu. I am Innovation Manager at Pomerleau, which is a general contractor in Canada. It goes coast to coast and that covers civil, infrastructure, and the building divisions.
Christian.
Hi, my name is Christian Claus. I'm the CMO and head of partnerships here at HoloBuilder. I've been with HoloBuilder for about 5 years, 3 years of which I was in product management and recently switched to marketing and partnerships. And the partnerships piece specifically allows me to be on this panel today, chatting about our integration with Boston Dynamics and the close collaboration that we've been doing with Isaac and his team over at Pomerleau in regard to the Spot walk integration.
That's awesome. Folks, we're in the presence of some brilliant folks here. So thank you so much to all of you for joining us today. So with that, let's dive into our subject. So before we dig in, let's kick it off with the elephant in the room. I'll start with you, Brian, as you must get this question a lot, I imagine. Are robots going to take our jobs? How do you turn this myth around for folks? And what's fueling the need for robotics in construction? Take it away, Brian.
No, that hasn't been a concern for us. We work closely with our customers to understand how robotics adds value and augments their work, automating tasks that are dull, dirty, and dangerous. You know, robots are able to keep construction workers out of hazardous environments and dangerous scenarios. And also, robots are really good at doing low-level tasks or dull tasks in a way that's actually better and more consistent than humans can perform them. So we've really found them to be a technology that augments the existing workforce and adds to their productivity.
Awesome. Isaac, just a quick, what's your take on this? What were the reactions at Pomerleau when your colleagues found out robots were coming? Last time I checked, you have over 4,000 colleagues working at Procore, at Pomerleau. Do your colleagues have a different viewpoint now as from before you introduced the concept?
Yeah, for sure. Like the first day we went out on the job site, we got a lot of questions going on around. It's like, what was going on? Like, who are we going to replace? But that's clearly not the case right now. We're not replacing anybody. We're just giving them like a much better job now, like much value-added job. So at first it was kind of like people were shocked like seeing the robot, and now it's kind of like one of their colleague, and that's all right. It's part of the job, and nobody's asking questions anymore about this. So that's kind of like, that's all right for us.
Awesome. And Christian, what's your take on people's fear of robotics, but also the potential of it, if you can share your thoughts?
Absolutely. Like Isaac said, really, people get used to Spot much quicker than I thought. And I got used to Spot much quicker than I thought myself. First time you see it, really, it's like seeing an excavator for the very first time when you were a kid. Like you get super excited, it looks impressive. And then the second time you still get excited, third time, maybe you take another photo. But then after that, it's really, really just another tool. And it's really not as scary as people think. The people capturing progress with HoloBuilder in the field, usually they take a 360 camera, they walk around the job site capturing the progress. It's typically a field engineer. And they do the capturing in addition to the work that they traditionally do, which is managing risk in the field, which they are great at. And having an efficient tool on their tool belt, if you want, that helps them do that capture quicker than what they have been able to do in the first place or before. That is really something that they get really excited about. The FEs that we've been working with, they now basically, instead of capturers, they're spot managers, if you want, and they get really excited. They really like the idea of having an efficient tool helping them with the capture instead of them going out there doing the capture themselves.
Awesome. Yeah, I like the fact that, you know, these robots can do something more mundane, more, you know, like general, while humans can do more high value work. So I think there's a lot of potential there. I think, you know, there's a saying, knowledge dispels fear. And I think the more we understand about this beautiful four-legged robots and the capacity and capabilities to help us, we'll just be more comfortable with them. And of course, familiarity plays a part. Right now, they're exciting, they're four-legged. It's very different, but we'll see how that progresses. So let's move on to the next topic, which is how the collaboration came out between Boston Dynamics, Pomerleau, and HoloBuilder that saw Spot on these job sites. So I'll start with Christian. My understanding is that HoloBuilder led this initiative. Tell us how this came about, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So actually, we didn't, HoloBuilder didn't, but the credit goes to one of our customers. A large engineering firm came to us and said, hey, we are working very closely with this company called Boston Dynamics and very closely with you all. Why don't you all start connecting and working together? You have this job walk app that allows you to capture progress in the field with 360-degree cameras, basically a Google Street View of the job site. They have this robot that allows you to walk the site as often as you want, as repetitive as you want. So why don't you put the job walk app and put it together with Spot and create a Spot walk app? And that's really what we did. We started the collaboration in late 2018. The very value proposition was clear from the beginning. Having this ultimate capture machine, as I refer to Spot, around that allows you to capture precisely over time and always in this exact same location without bothering any of the field engineers or even summer interns to need to do that, it was a very compelling argument to have better data structure and more frequent capture rather than just once a week, maybe turning it up to twice every day because you can now. And having a customer, and everyone that ever managed a product or a roadmap knows, having a customer endorse a partnership from the get-go is gold. And so we really quickly kind of started collaborating with Brian and his team over at Boston Dynamics, and we had a lot of fun. The engineering team here at HoloBuilder, it really made their year. They were super excited, and together with Brian's engineering team, the engineers over at HoloBuilder have basically together laid the foundation of what these integrations look like in the future. And that's really satisfying for, I think, all teams involved and very beneficial to teams such as Isaac's over at Pomerleau, who then get to use it and give great feedback and be part of the journey. It's a hands-on process from Isaac's perspective, giving feedback, working together to make the whole system work. And it's been great, and having customers very early on endorse it and run with it as well has been, yeah, gold.
Christian, I just love your passion about all this. I just thank you for your vision, your customer who brought this up, and now we're having this conversation a little bit. I also know just having chatted with you three folks before, you have so much excitement amongst yourselves. It seems the camaraderie is very strong, so that's key for collaboration. Isaac, how did Pomerleau come to decide to participate in this collaboration? How, first of all, how excited were you when Pomerleau agreed to participate? I know you're like all excited by technology. So walk me just through your initial reaction, but also how does it look for like a general contracting firm like you to decide, hey, we're going to try this out?
Yeah, for sure. Like first day we got the robot, it was like, at least, the first day I heard that we're going to get the robot, and with like a whole builder amount on it was like, it was Christmas for me. I cannot be any more happier than that. And it's still the same every day. Like I have to go and work with Spot. It's like, it's always Christmas for me. So yeah, because we do have at Pomerleau an innovation department. So for us, and it's like our mission to lead the industry and bring the industry forward in terms of technology and everything. And we did have a labor shortage at a time when we got into this, and so it was pretty clear for us that it was going to help us get things done with like the people we didn't have at that time. And that was like pretty interesting development by Eric Lessard, which is our chief technological officer at Pomerleau. So he's pretty involved in everything, and he's always willing like to try new stuff with us. So I mean, that's how it all started out. So yeah.
I love how Pomerleau is so like dynamic, and it's open to new technologies. You have an innovative culture, so I can just see this thing coming, and and thank you for testing it on our industry's behalf. So Brian, you're the main person I want to ask was, but what's your part, or what's Boston Dynamics' part here? And obviously there are going to be folks in the audience who are interested in this robotic technology. Do you have a program pilot that companies can participate in, or are you commercially available? Can you share some details on this, and what are the various ways you customers can get engaged? Please enlighten us.
Yeah, Pomerleau was one of our very first construction customers, so they were part of our early adapter pilot. We've learned a lot from them in terms of what adds value to construction. We think we have a really amazing piece of technology with the agile mobile robot that is Spot, its capabilities of getting around the environment and of automating data capture for these customers. But there's a lot more that's required in terms of contextualizing that data capture relative to floor plans and BIM, and getting further insight out of that. And that's really been kind of the beauty of the partnership with HoloBuilder. And now, here we are today. The robot's actually commercially available in both the US and in Europe.
So you can go and buy. Go buy a robot tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. You can buy one right now off the internet, which is awesome. It's e-commerce for legged robots at shop.bostondynamics.com. So yeah, we're excited. We're excited about that. The goal has really always been to bring these robots out of the lab and into the real world and make them useful for these industries.
And do you have any pilot programs or currently that folks can participate in, or is it just mostly could you buy it and you proceed from there?
Yeah, we do have a number of them, and the HoloBuilder one is a great example. So we're always looking for more customers to join and to test that combination of technologies. They're becoming more mature, but there's we stay humble, and there's a lot to learn from these customers. So I would encourage them to reach out. We have a contact link on bostondynamics.com, and you can mention HoloBuilder, or you can mention my name, and we'll certainly talk to you about that.
Awesome. And yeah, tell them that you heard this at Groundbreak, folks, when you
yeah, please do.
But just we're going to get into the return on investment question, because that's probably top on folks' mind. But before that, I wanted to just get a quick sense of what are you measuring, the parameters, how do you define success to move to the next step with this collaboration? I'm just curious to hear your different angles. So I'll start with you again, Brian. What can you share on the aspect of collaboration? Is it about improving Spot and its capabilities, for example? What's your goal with this particular collaboration, or maybe any collaboration that you participate in?
Yeah, I think where we start from with customers is that no one really questions the value of having better data capture on the job site. So the low-hanging fruit is to increase the kind of quality and frequency and overall volume of that data capture with Spot, while reducing the investment that's required to capture that data in terms of cost and labor hours. And I think we're doing quite well on that front. And then the next question to ask are these kind of larger numbers and secondary ROI opportunities, which is when you have this data, especially if it's contextualized in a well-organized environment, like HoloBuilder, what can you then do with it? How can you better understand your site, stage it for the next day with near real-time insight, measure work in place, et cetera? There are so many downstream opportunities of having a well-managed job site that would allow you to deliver these projects with more efficiency.
Awesome. Thanks for that response. Isaac, how about Pomerleau? How do you progress a pilot or innovation project to decide whether it proceeds to the next step? Also, if you can comment on your culture of innovation, how that plays into this whole process. Isaac, I think.
Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, for sure, it's all based on a business case. So we just start and we start from a need, obviously. We're testing a lot of stuff around with Pomerleau, with all the innovation and stuff going on. So it goes in all direction and multiple axes of developments that we're touching right now. But it all starts when we're okay, there's a need. What could we do to fix that need or to fulfill that need? So this is exactly what we did with Boston Dynamics and HoloBuilder. Is we want to get more data out of the job site, but it's taking so long with the manual process of going on the job site with an intern. That's usually what happens. So that's how we build a business case, see how it can go, and then let's go and try it. And we do really like to be involved with the development of new technology. So being part of the pilot for us, for example, is critical. So we can have a feedback to the company, and then have collaboration and try to make things much better. So this is kind of our normal process, and we're expecting to be able to help develop the different things. So that's kind of also part of the evaluation of a new technology or something. Are we able to make things better now with this, or are we stuck with what we have? So so that's for sure very interesting, the way it goes with Boston Dynamics and HoloBuilder. There's a continuous discussion going around with everything we could do. So I mean, that's very interesting for us, and it's a big added value for sure.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, and one of the things I do know about Pomerleau, you're always trying to share what you're learning with the broader industry, whether it's BIM or Lean, and now with robotics. So, I really admire that culture of innovation. Keep at it, and this is just another example of what you do, and that's why we value you folks so much as customers. Christian, what's your take on this?
Yeah, as Brian mentioned, and also Isaac touched upon, is the ROI really comes from having the data and being able to improve existing workflows for the GCs, engineering firms, owners out there. By having the data, you can reduce the travel on site. Specifically right now in COVID days, that's super a huge value proposition, because the travel to the site is limited, and the ability to do that is limited. Then improving payments, invoicing, verification workflows, being able to, based on actual site data, knowing what the site actually looks like, having an as-built record that you can share as a closeout package that just differentiates your service by being able to offer something like that. And then just improving the team collaboration and communication by having this street view, if you want, of the job site that you can put on a Zoom screen share, or that you can put on a screen in a meeting room where you can walk the whole team through it. That's really where the ROI comes from. So as Brian mentioned, it's really down to reducing the time it takes to capture and harvest the data out in the field. And at HoloBuilder, we've been on this journey ever since we existed in 2015. We've been working closely with our customers, such as Pomerleau, also before Spotwalk, and have been trying to reduce the time it takes to capture, while keeping the data structured and in a format that is usable down the road as well, that is easy to filter through, go back in time to see what the progress was. So we were, back in the day, the first company to create an application that works with one of those 360 cameras to document the field, called the JobWalk app. And that workflow really speed up the capture of the traditional photo capture in the field by about 80%, by having a better outcome that doesn't need any post-processing afterwards. So that journey began back then. Recently, we added speed mode, which uses other sensors in the phone, such as the camera lens and other location-based possibilities to locate yourself in the field, to really understand where you are, to automatically start capturing just by being close to one of the capture locations that you're interested in. And now robotics is just the next step on that journey to automate that capture, and being able to faster capture to get that data in, to really unlock that workflow efficiencies and generate that ROI. Now being able, as mentioned earlier, being able to just capture once a week, that's usually what we see our customers do, by the way. Now you're able to capture maybe once a day, or even twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening. And especially when tying things like that with AI, being able to analyze the photos based on progress, that is when you get a report, not just once a week of what progress was from one week to the other, but you really get that reports on a daily basis. And that's where you can improve existing workflows around more efficiently than you could not having it. So that's really where Spot comes in, and Spot really is the ultimate capture machine that we think is the best way of being able to capture frequently and always in these precise locations. that's why we are part of this partnership and really excited about it.
Thank you, Christian. You stole a little bit of our thunder for the ROI, but we're going to get back to that. So I wanted to get to the economics and viability of robotics on construction sites, especially along the lines of return on investment. This is top of mind for a lot of folks. So Brian, I'll start with you. And Christian, thanks for alluding to some of those ROI returns, and I'll get back to you on a specific question after. But Brian, there's a saying in construction, and it has a construction twist. You're not selling a drill, you're selling holes. What are the holes, the benefits that robotics brings to the table for a construction firm to invest in it? What's your twist on this? So what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, all of this starts with the data capture side of things. This is the big gap in the industry. You have to have a baseline if you're trying to continuously improve your organization. And the other thing that's possible here too is through the contextualization of that data capture with the digital asset, whether it's floor plans, whether it's BIM, it starts to allow for more of this digital twin mentality, the ability to tie the physical environment to that asset and have better, kind of more tightly coordinated activities between those two things. So I think the data capture will lead to that relationship. And then from there, anything else is possible. We have the spot arm coming out next year. So now in addition to sensing an environment, there will be the ability to start to manipulate that environment. And we'll start to get that positive feedback of kind of sense, analyze, and react to lend even greater efficiency to the job site.
Awesome. Isaac, I was just wondering what your thoughts were on this, and what are the, we talked about the sense portion that's coming up, but what are the other use cases you see for robotics outside, visual documentation, accuracy, if you can share?
So yeah, for sure. Right now we're looking into getting, for example, a laser scanner on top of Spot, so the surveyors can go on a job site and they don't have to wait go and just move their tripod around. So they could go and just scan everything on existing buildings before going on for some extension or renovation of the building. So for us, that's kind of one of the use cases we're looking at. But to be honest, there are multiple other ones that we're working on right now. And I mean, for us, that's exactly that's a platform that we can build on top of with other applications. So for sure, the HoloBuilder one was the first one, and that's working. So now let's move on to the next one and see what we can do to make it grow, and see which more other value we can bring with this kind of technology. So
I see a use in inaccessible spaces that are not safe, where Spot can just trot around, and your sensing is so important. I think it's going to just take it to a whole new level, Brian. Just real quick, Christian, you had already alluded to some already, but what are the how does robotics up the game for visual documentation specifically?
Yeah, the frequency and the ability to capture precise at the exact same location. What happens a lot in the field is you have one team working one day, capturing a specific location, and then another team working on the other day. Now we built and optimized the workflow as such that you can find out where exactly the person before you captured. But that is something that when the robot can just always remember where it is, just accelerate that workflow significantly. So having Spot, the capture machine, being able to do that for you, just removes all this complexity out of the picture and just delivers this beautiful documentation in the end of the day that you can be using. That's really what changes the game for us, and I guess the 360 capture space as a whole.
Exciting. So let's just talk quickly about Spot's capabilities. So Brian, this is for you. Is Spot the real deal? A job site is a hostile environment with so many obstacles that make safety the biggest issue for industry. So how is Spot adapting? How capable is it? And how does it differ from other iterations of robotics?
Yeah, I mean, construction sites are immensely challenging. They're chaotic. There are lots of obstacles, and they're ephemeral. They're changing every day because they're temporary until the final building is built. So, one of the things I always say is that the construction environment is kind of the lens through which we understand autonomy, which is to say that if we can solve it here, we can pretty much offer a good solution for any environment. And I think Spot is just getting better and better at that. And I do think that is something that differentiates Spot, is that you can bring this level of automation into a kind of, say, like adversarial and human purposed environment.
Awesome. Isaac, you've been experiencing, does Brian speak the truth? Is Spot off it?
Yeah, it is phenomenal. I mean, I was on the job site the other day, and like there was a slab that was 10 inches thick, and like it wasn't poured on the side of it. So the robot just came by, just like right away, no hesitation, just jump on the 10-inch thick slab. And everybody on job site that was around, even though that they saw Spot previously, was like, the jaw was dropping. It was like, are you serious? Like, yeah, I can do it the other way around also if you want. And I mean, it's pretty impressive, and people are always asking questions. Is it true we can go on stairs and everything? And like when you show them, they're like, oh shit, okay, it's really working. This is working. It can adapt to like different environment. No, I mean, this is phenomenal. I mean, I'm in Montreal, so we got snow last winter, no issue at all. Went right through the snow to the job site. So I mean, that works for us. I mean, that's no question asked about how at par it would be with a rover. I mean, that's way ahead than what you would get with a rover in terms of accessibility on a job site.
Awesome. Brian, looks like you have a customer. So just one more question we can fit in. So this one is for Christian. Obviously there are a few Procore customers attending Groundbreak. So I wanted to touch on how Procore comes into the picture, because I'm Procore. I want to know how this works. So perhaps you can walk us through how data is collected by Spot and brought into Procore through HoloBuilder, which helps a general contractor like Pomerleau with actionable insights. Tell us a bit more on this.
Yeah, so it's so important that all these players in construction tech work together, right? And that the data flows from one platform to the next, and that there's no data silo where you put the data in that wouldn't be able to communicate to another platform. And as you know, Sanjeev, HoloBuilder and Procore, we've been collaborating since 2017. We integrated in 2018 and continuously build out that integration because of joint customers such as Isaac and his team. And the nice thing about having done that for a couple of years now is we see this network effect, because HoloBuilder is integrated with Procore and HoloBuilder is integrated with Spot. Now you get the data that is captured with Spot and Spotwalk in HoloBuilder, which through the embedded experience, you're able to see now within Procore just without doing anything. Like it's already working, just because it's obviously our engineers would say different. They have been working very hard to make that happen, and yours too. But as on the customers and on Isaac's end, that's basically just kind of out of the box, because that integration exists, which is really where the magic happens, and where again, this workflow efficiencies are gained. So it's a no-brainer that the tools have to work together and that the data has to flow. Like let's say with HoloBuilder, one of the big use cases is you virtually walk the site. Think if you don't have a picture in your hand, think a Google Street View, right? You walk it through the job site, you see something and you want to make a markup. And that markup, you don't want to just live within HoloBuilder. You also want that to live with your other observations that you have within Procore. And because of that integration, we can do that. And then when you make changes within Procore in the observation, that gets synced back. So you not only can you see the data out of your Procore embedded experience portal, but you can also like adjust the data that then lives in both platforms. So that's really where the power of integrations comes from, and then allows teams that are working in the field and in the office and collaborate between the two, like Isaac's teams, to benefit from having that collaboration.
Nice. Thank you for that partnership. Yes, you've been totally awesome. I love the passion HoloBuilder brings. Folks, that's about all the time we have. It's gone by really, really fast. Thank you everyone in the audience for joining us today. I hope this session was informative, helpful, and you inspired and are more knowledgeable about robotics. Give them a chance. A big thank you to Isaac, Brian, and Christian, and your esteemed organizations for joining us and sharing your findings for the improvement of our industry. We are excited about Spot. We're cheering you on, so wishing your collaboration the best of continued success. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Sanjeev.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. So folks, thank you, Isaac. Folks, thanks. That's a wrap. Thanks for being part of Groundbreak. Have a great day.